Koken has a view that the Dolphins are in worse shape than the Jets because of the contract given to Tua. I say that the Dolphins are always in the worst possible position, except for the fact that the Jets are just so bad. But let me go to the Dolphins. They had it. They were going to beat the Chargers. They had it. They're up with under a minute to go. They give up an amazing play by Justin Herbert. It's a quick pass when he's about to be sacked. He gets it out to the side. All of a sudden, 3 missed tackles later, 42 yards gained. Bing, bang, boom, field goal, game over. Dolphins lose. Okay. What did we tell you about what happens after a team loses? Well, you know. Media availability. The Dolphins have a problem today because today, Monday, October 13th, they will have to meet the media again, let's say at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, when the coaches and the players will do a postmortem on yesterday. And the only thing anyone's going to be talking about are Tua's comments to the media after the game. I want you to listen to what Tua said after the Dolphins lost to the Chargers yesterday.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Let me be as clear as I can. The days of Tua being the Dolphins quarterback need to be numbered. Tua just made it very clear in that soundbite that not only is he not a leader of the team, but he is actually a detriment to the success of the Dolphins. By calling out players publicly like that, you are not motivating them to be better. You are not sending a signal to them that you're paying attention and that your leadership skills are on display. By calling out players the way he did in a press availability after a game in which you lost to go 1-5, what you are saying is that you want to be not associated with those players anymore. And that is the opposite of what a leader does. A leader comes out and wears it. A leader takes the microphone and says, doesn't matter what your questions are, here's all I have to say. Losing a game like this is a gut-wrenching result. But I know with this group of guys in that clubhouse that we will find a way to get this season turned around. We will focus on the opponent, and with the help of our coaching staff, we will put together a game plan that will lead to a victory next week against the Browns. That is all you say. Tua instead spent time telling you that players aren't going to meetings. Mandatory meetings, not mandatory meetings. Sounding like it's mayhem, sounding like there's some sort of mutiny on the bounty, that somehow Xavier McDaniel has no control over the team. Mike McDaniel. Who is Xavier McDaniel? Is the Knick player. Wow. Hi, I'm David Samson. Okay, do that again, because this is a good one for Jack. Okay, 4869. Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Miami Dolphins, watches Tua give that interview, immediately understands that he's got a crisis PR situation that's going to be addressed, but also believes that Tua, who has not been the answer as quarterback, who is not respected in the clubhouse as the leader of the team, who is not in any way capable of leading the Dolphins to any number of victories, including even making the playoffs. Forget getting a playoff victory. That Tua, who is signed to a huge deal where giving him $50 million plus seemed like something that they had to do and they regretted the minute the ink dried. That Tua, whose health impacts his ability to play more than his inability to play. The coach whose job is hanging in the balance, who knows that his days are numbered, has to figure out, what do I do when I've got a division in this clubhouse that has now been made public? What do I do knowing that Tua and his teammates are at odds? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deflect. And Mike McDaniel made the decision when he heard what Tua had said to say, not interested, not worried about the team being together. I am focused on getting our team right. I'm focused on winning games. Well, the truth of the matter is that Mike McDaniel can't keep his team together, that Tua can't lead the team as their quarterback, that the decision to sign Tua was an ill-fated decision by Stephen Ross and Chris Grier, that the reality is that until the Dolphins move on from Tua, they are subject to this dysfunction and this losing. And yesterday, it should have been the final straw. The business of football will come into play. Dead cap money, salary cap circumvention, manipulation, maneuverings. It will be impossible to move on from Tua this season. It will not be impossible to move on from Mike McDaniel and GM Chris Grier. As much as Stephen Ross does not want to acknowledge that he may have chosen the wrong head coach, that he may have stuck too long with his GM, as much as Stephen Ross, the owner, may not be willing to look in the mirror and watch as his years wind down like sand through an hourglass, having lived a full, amazing life, may he live 20 more years, does he also not realize that every day that passes with this leadership in Miami is a day that gets him further away from his goal and his sole goal of winning the Super Bowl? All of the money in the world, these owners would trade it for the ring. Now, they'd still keep enough to live well for the rest of their lives, maybe even give some to future generations. But believe me, they'd give away all the excess. They want to get the ring. Stephen Ross has done a great job of building value in the Dolphins, monetizing the value in the Dolphins and the associated assets. But as owner of the football team, judging by results on the field, doesn't even have one ring, doesn't even have one playoff win, doesn't even have the right people in place where you can get the quarterbacks in place to have run after run after run, because it's not like he's not willing to spend the money. It's not like it's a facilities issue, a location issue. None of those things are true. I think it is very clear that Mike McDaniel cannot survive this, that Chris Grier cannot survive this. They will be let go. And I think it's clear that the new GM, the new coach, will have no interest in Tua, because when they come in and talk to players, it will become very clear that there is a leadership void in Miami because no one is happy with Tua on or off the field. All of this is going to happen, and we will watch it unravel, and it may unravel as early as today.